Rob, real excitement around the place. It's a Champions Cup semi-final, much different to 2020 because, for a start, you're going to have fans there this week. What are you seeing differently between the two semi-finals? Or not a lot?
Not so much. I mean, the prep was very much the same. You know, I mean, what did we do? We had Toulouse back then, massive French club going really, really well. We've got a similar situation this time. Obviously, we're travelling away, which I think actually is pretty nice. You know, going away to a big stadium, it's going to be sold out. I mean, it's going to be an incredible atmosphere. I mean, there's no one who's going to be there who is not going to say it's a great experience afterwards. And what we've got to do is we've got to make an experience that we really want it to be, and that's going to take a bit of doing. We're going to have to dig deep, but that's what great games should be. You know, a great game shouldn't be I turn up and the opposition roll over. You know, I remember that Toulouse game. What was incredible about it, and in many ways, I still think it was probably one of the best performances I've seen from an ex-Chiefs team because it had everything. You know, had them coming at us, throwing absolutely everything at us with world-class players, and then as others as kind of breaking them on our own bodies a little bit. That's what the lads did. They stood there and they fought so hard, literally fought for every inch, and we refused to concede a try. I think we conceded a couple of penalties in the first quarter of the game, but we got through a really tough patch by working extremely hard, and then the end of the first half kind of saw us start to take charge with a couple of tries, and then we expanded on that at times in the second half, and it really was one of those special things, special occasions, and that's what we've got to work extremely hard to do when we go to La Rochelle this Sunday, because it's going to have to be that similar level of performance, because it should be. It's the European semi-final, it should be tough. So we should expect we're going to have to work very, very hard.
The media just asked you, are you surprised to be in this last four? What's your response when you say that?
Well, like as I said, you know, the way we played through Europe, I've got to say no. You know, right from the very first game, right up till the end of the quarter final, you've got to say no, because our level of performances have been very, very good. You know, we felt we dealt even with some really tough circumstances over at the Bulls, and probably we're actually a little disappointed with our performance there, and probably felt there was a little bit. There was certainly more in the game for us than there was, and although we did exceptionally well at the end to get the point, which is very, very important for us. But I still think, you know, we've got to remember that, you know, although it's been a frustratingly inconsistent season, it's not been frustratingly inconsistent in Europe. And actually some of our poor performances have happened in and around Europe, because I think we've put emotionally an awful lot into this campaign. And so it kind of doesn't surprise me. That's the key for us now, is that we don't let ourselves down as we get to these big crucial games, and we just show the best of ourselves.
A lot of people on paper will say you haven't got a chance, but we know from internally here you've got players that have played in big occasions, big semi-finals, big finals. That's going to have to come to the fore very much on Sunday, isn't it?
Well, I think the trouble is the narrative of this season, or especially the second half of the season, has been all about the players who are leaving. But what people forget is they're still here at the moment. You know, Sam Simmons is still here, Joe Simmons is still here, Stuart Hogg's still here, Jack Noel's still here. You know, they're still here, they're still playing, you know, they're still in the team, they're still going to be involved. Yannis Kirsten, you know, he's big name player, but he's still here. Dave Ewers still here. You know, they haven't gone. You know, and they're still capable of getting on the pitch and playing like international quality players. And that's got to be the job. You know, this week is about bringing that together and bringing that experience together. You know, we've still got very good players still staying. Ollie Woodburn's been Player of the Year. You know, he's going to be on the pitch. Johnny Gray is an international second row. He's going to be on the pitch. You know, Scott Searle is an Australian international. He's going to be on the pitch. You know, we've got a Georgian international prop going to be on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? I think people just sometimes it's sort of forgetting that we've still got a good group of players, and they all come together. They all see this game as one. It's going to be a very, very good game.
What about the threat of La Rochelle? What have you learned from, say, the games against Sarries and Gloucester that they played?
I think Saracens will probably, you know, knowing Saracens and obviously the standards they set themselves, they'll probably be a little disappointed overall, because although it was a very competitive game, I think they'll look at it and go, could have been better. You know, they'll know that. I think the 6 points they concede early in the game, they'll have looked at and gone, we didn't really need to concede those. And then if you fast forward through the game, it's very competitive, and Saracens get held up twice over the line when there's 10 points in the game. You know, you knock off 6 or 3 points and they score there, and that game's going into the last quarter even Stevens, and that's an interesting prospect for the home team to have to deal with. I think Gloucester was a little different in that they probably had a bit less control in the game, but actually created more because they kind of went for it, and they kept pace in the game, they kept tempo, they didn't get hurt by anything La Rochelle did, they didn't get hurt by the odd turnover on the floor, they didn't get hurt by the bad or poor scrum. just got on with stuff. They almost grew as a team with energy that they brought. I think we've got to probably harness a bit of both of those if we want to have success this weekend.
Rob, the vibe around the place has been electric this week, and I kind of replicated back to 2020 when everyone was buying in, and you forged that group, that collective that really wanted to go for a goal, and I'm seeing it again this week.
Yeah,
Training
has been great. I mean, we've asked a lot from the non-23. We've asked a lot of them to get their prep bang on. We've done a lot of stuff opposed. Now, when I say opposed, I don't mean 15 or 15 fully opposed, but even walkthroughs have been 15 against 15, so we can look at where we think space might be. We can walk through what an attacking shape should look like and why, and then we've done them at we've done them at jog level, and then we've done them at a bit greater pace. So we've really kind of had to use the whole squad to get some really top level prep done. We focused a bit less on just everyone getting, I suppose, what you call a development week done, and it's been very much based on a week of getting ourselves right leading into a game. What now is at the tail end of the season that we want to get exactly right.
And obviously Europe gets us all excited, doesn't it? It's still the pinnacle competition to go after.
I think what more can you want as a player or coach to be getting on the plane here at Exeter on Saturday. We're going to arrive in a fantastic city, fantastic rugby city. The stadium, obviously I've never been there, but the stadium from what we've seen looks fantastic. Sellout crowd, it's kind of what more do you want? These are why you should get involved, and this is why you should be desperate to play in this kind of a game.